Hey guys, welcome back to another video of Bloom Outdoors. So if you guys can't already tell what I am doing here, I'm getting the Horn Blasters kit. If you guys don't know what Horn Blasters is, it's basically a train horn. So on the bottom here, you can see the 4 train horns. These are the back side, and from right there, maybe you can kind of tell, those are the front. Basically, it's gonna be flipped around, but this is just the way it is that's easiest for me to work on it right now. Just wanted to go ahead and kind of show you guys what was going on. I know this is going to be a pretty long video because there's a lot to do here. So I kind of just started to go ahead and install everything. Just kind of show you guys where I'm at. So it comes with some instructions here. So first step was pretty much put the horns on. I did that because everything comes taken apart, like nothing is put together. You get all the separate parts. So you got to put the horns on here. That's pretty easy. As you can see, just the bolts connected to the actual horns itself, and you put the nut on there. Pretty much the same thing for back here. So you get the horns mounted to the bracket. Step 2 is you just put all of the fittings onto the air tank here. And now depending which compressor you get will depend how you put them onto the tank. I got the single spare tire delete kit. I think it was the Midnight series was the name, and it was the 244K, I believe. There will be a link for this kit down in the description below. But I ordered the kit, and so it comes with, as you can see here, this is upside down, but it's the 444C. This is the compressor. So it says follow 6.2 for the 444C compressor. So that's this one. You just have all the fittings and everything. It's pretty easy to do. As you can see, the compressor is right here. Got all the fittings put on. It does come with the white tape, so no air leaks out. Like half of them already have tape on it, but the other half you have to put tape on. Not sure why. But you can see we got all the plugs down there and everything, stuff back up around there. We've got our gauge right over there. Yeah, this is pretty much what that's looking like. And then you have to bolt the tank up to the bracket. So you've just got 4 bolts there, 2 on each side. Put it on just like that. And then after that, the next step was getting this valve. I think it's a pressure valve maybe. I'm not exactly sure what it's called. I think it was a pressure valve, but there's just 2 bolts right in the back of there that hold it in like that. You wanna make sure that this is gonna be level with this. And then it gives you a measurement to cut this hose at. So you cut that, slide it in the 2. You gotta put the fitting on there. Put the fitting on the back of this, and then you cut all of these air lines here to, I think it was 18 inches. Run them through and connect them to each of these, which is connected onto each horn. So this is actually like the threaded bolt that comes up from the horn, but then in the middle of it is hollowed out for your air to go down into each horn. So far that's pretty much what it is looking like. It's pretty much just following the directions and putting everything together. The directions have definitely been my friend here. So if you get the kit, it's fairly simple. Everything is labeled. Very nice from Horn Blasters. As you can see on stuff here, like it tells you on here, solenoid valve. That's what that's called, not a pressure valve. So see, I didn't even know the name of it. I don't know what it is, but like in here, it'll say solenoid valve. So you find that box, open it up, put it on. It tells you the lengths, how to cut stuff, how to hook it up. It's pretty easy. So yeah, that's pretty much just where I'm at so far. I don't have much battery left, unfortunately, in my camera here. So I'm just going to pretty much get through the rest of putting this stuff together. It's super self-explanatory. Like I said, it tells you for which compressor you have, like use this side, not this side. It gives you instructions for the exact kit. And it also gives you instructions for the overall horns for if you want to change something or do it differently. This is kind of a more in-depth instructions. So you can see there, it's just all words and everything. This one gives you some pictures to base it off of. But yeah, so that's pretty much where I'm at right now. I'm sure that I won't be able to finish this today, and it'll go in tomorrow and maybe into the next day. But we'll see. So I'm just gonna kind of keep putting this stuff together on how the kit says to do it, and then I'll check back in with you guys in a minute. Okay guys, quick little update. So I was super confused. I couldn't find the mounting hardware for the compressor. And so I opened the boxes back up and everything. I'm trying to look through them. This is the box the compressor was sitting in. I couldn't find it anywhere. I was literally about to call Horn Blasters and say, hey, I didn't get this. Or I was about to figure out my own way to do it. And anyways, I'm looking through here and I see this. So as you can see from this side, you literally can't see it at all. There's like a hole in the back of here. So I think this is the hardware I was looking for that I lost. Literally about threw it away because I didn't see it anywhere. So I'm gonna cut this open and hopefully this is what I'm looking for. All right guys, so as I just showed you, I ended up finding those in the house. As you can see, it was these ones right here I couldn't find anywhere. But like I just told you, I ended up finding them on the back side of that box. They were a little difficult to find, but eventually I did. And as you can tell, pretty much everything is good to go back here. All the hoses are in. Got these up here, not super tight because I'm not sure on the length of them yet. But pretty much we're good to go, just about ready for the actual install of this. Everything you see right here that I've done, by the way, this has probably taken me 4 hours to assemble this. I'm not sure what a good amount of time is to do it in, but considering they send you everything not put together and you have to do it yourself, I don't know, I did it all in 4 hours. And like I said, I just followed the instructions. They were pretty helpful in trying to figure everything out. Some stuff got a little confusing here and there, but all in all, it was fairly easy to put it all together like this. So I'm hoping the actual wiring part of it will be the same, but so far it really hasn't been too bad. So the last thing I pretty much have to do before getting into all the wiring, I'm gonna go ahead and throw the horns up there. And then I gotta figure out with this, what is this called again? The air inlet filter assembly, which is this guy right here. It's supposed to be in a dry place that won't get hot. So I'm trying to figure out where to put that at, but I wanna go ahead and get this thing mounted up so I can kind of figure out where it's gonna sit, and then based off of there, kind of make my decision on that, because then I gotta figure out where this will sit so I can make it a close run to it. So I'm gonna go ahead and try and get this stuff thrown up under the truck, try and get stuff tightened down, figure out where some of this stuff is gonna go. And then after that, I think it stays up there when wiring it too. So this should be quite an interesting process, and hopefully I don't break anything. Another thing I wanted to tell you guys too is something I never realized with this is these horns are actually plastic. As you can tell, they're plastic. So when you're doing like what I'm doing right now, trying to put it all together, there is a lot of weight on these. So try not to like throw it up and down or set it on concrete. I'm trying to find something nice to set it on. When I was starting to work on it, I started in the house and I was just setting it on the carpet. But yeah, try not to drop it or throw it around too bad or anything, because like I said, these are just plastic, and I'm guessing they will crack or break if throw them around too hard. Pretty much with that being said, I'm gonna figure out how to mount this thing up under the truck, and then I gotta get the hose ran from here to whatever that circle piece was called. I forget the name. Then after that, I think we're pretty much good, and we're just ready for the actual wiring part of it, which will be a whole nother interesting story on trying to figure out how to get all that to work. All right guys, so this stuff might be hard to see, but as you can now see, the horns are now mounted. It's probably been 2 or 3 hours since I checked in with you guys. Definitely a lot of work. It was very hard getting this kit mounted up in the whole spare tire location. You can see what holds it up there is the 4 pin things, whatever you want to call these, the bolts and all that. Trying to adjust those and get everything level and find a flat spot was quite difficult. But all in all, you can still kind of just follow the directions and it tells you what to do. I also got this mounted. I forget the name of this thing. I was talking to you guys earlier about that. This hose was extremely hard to get onto these fittings. you kind of have to ream it out with a screwdriver, like a big screwdriver, and get it in that far on both of them. Yeah, hopefully this doesn't get wet or hot or anything like that, or it'll get messed up from what it says. I'm hoping this is a fine location because I really have no idea where I would put it. It's kind of hard to find a spot that can always stay dry, because I feel like no matter what, if it rains or something, then everything under the truck is going to get wet. But I don't know, that's kind of the best spot I could find to do that. Kind of just got the hose looping back around there, so you come off of this connector and it goes back into that. So I don't know, good enough. Hopefully it doesn't get wet or anything right there. And then I've got the extra cable supports right there and back up around there. It just goes through these brackets that run across the frame and into the kit. That's what it looks like so far. I'm fairly certain everything with the actual like horn part of this is pretty much done. I think the next step is just wiring stuff, but I haven't looked at the directions yet, so I'm not positive. But I'm gonna go ahead and do that, and then I'll check back in with you guys in a minute. Alrighty guys, so here we are back. It's actually give or take about 2 weeks later, maybe a little longer. I think it was a Thursday. I filmed the last portion of this video. I worked on it then that next day. Couldn't get the wiring figured out. Basically what was wrong was they said I had a bad pressure switch. I kind of showed that to you guys earlier. Long story short, they had to ship me out a new one. That got here after about a week. And then I put that on. I still couldn't get it to work. Today is Friday, April 30th. So it's give or take just over 2 weeks since I filmed the last part of the video, but I actually just ended up finally getting it working. It's not totally fully installed yet, as you can kind of tell with all my crap laying everywhere. The whole front end is actually still apart. Basically right now though, just before I go ahead and put everything back together, I just wanted to show you guys what I all had to do. Just like I said, the whole front end is still taken apart and everything, but I wanted to show you guys for if you have this kind of truck or something similar, this might be very helpful to you, because I personally could not find anything close to what I was looking for to help me out. All in all, I probably spent a total of 4 hours on the phone with Horn Blasters trying to get this figured out. I probably have, give or take, about 20 hours into this kit trying to get it to work. I'll show you guys right here. If you are going to run it the way I ran it, which I can show you, like I said, it's kind of installed, not everything's totally done. I have a couple leaks in some of the air fittings and stuff, so I still have to get that taken care of. But as you guys know, these are the kinds of switches I run, so I'm running the same kind of thing. The battery's not hooked up, and this actually isn't fully grounded at the moment, so there's no light when you press it. If you were to press this one, the light would pop up. If you press this one, the light would pop up. If you press this one, the light does not light up, I guess. And that is due to the grounding issue. As you can see, I'm not fully done because there's no tape on it and stuff's not tucked away nicely and everything. So this is your battery wire. That goes to this red wire right here. This red wire right there goes to the pressure switch, which was the new one they had to send me. You can kind of see what it looks like there. It's like dark. That thing actually sucked getting that in. I had to drop the whole kit down because the mounting bracket thing up there was in the way. So I had to drop the kit so I could get that out of there and then twist this new pressure switch on. But so power goes to that. You have the blue wire. This is your like key on ignition. That runs to the blue wire on the pressure switch. You have a black wire coming off of your pressure switch. That runs to the frame as a ground. You can kind of see it up over there. I have like an exhaust hanger bracket from this exhaust, so I put all the grounds right up there, and then the white runs around, and that goes to your red on your compressor. Then you have a black on the compressor, that is ground. That runs to that same grounding spot. And then you've got this solenoid valve, I think it's called maybe, or some kind of solenoid. You have got a red and a black coming off of this guy. I don't have a good view because I'm literally laying under the truck. The red off of this guy runs up to the truck, and that connects to your hot on your switch, or at least my switch, I guess. It's the hot on my switch for my accessory, and then the ground for that is just grounded over there. That's pretty much all the wiring back here. It's really not terrible. At least I think that's all the wiring for back there. That blue wire I just showed you, which was the accessory wire, I had to run that up here into the fuse box, into, if it'll focus, this 10 amp fuse right here. This is, I forget the name of it. It was like 36 or something. I had it all pulled up in the owner's manual, I think 36, yeah. Vehicle power 3, 10 amp fuse, that works. So anytime the key is in or the truck is running, the compressor will be running. But right now, like I said, there's some leaks in it, so it doesn't get totally full. It goes up to like maybe 10 PSI. And then for you guys who are wondering about my headlights, I'm not sure on the fuse number, but it's a little 5 amp fuse right there. That is the fuse aspect of it, and that is how I ran the accessory wire. You have the fuse right here, which will go to the battery. That's all disconnected because I still have to tidy everything up back there. Going into the cab, then I'll show you the switch. This is the switch. You've got the red and blue right here. This runs to the hot on the horn. Yeah, that little solenoid thing that I told you runs to the switch. So those two go to there. This white runs around to the actual horn, the factory horn up front. This did not need to be here. This was my ground. That did not need to be there. That's why I was having so many issues. I tried to connect this to the pressure switch, trying to use that as my ground from that. It actually just needs to go to the frame. So trying to connect that to this did not work. This just needs to get grounded somewhere in the truck, and that's literally just powering the light on and off for when the switch is on or off. So like, that's why I said right now, the light does not work because that is not actually grounded. It actually runs to the back of the truck, but it doesn't do anything. I'm literally just gonna have to pull that wire out. So theoretically, there should be one wire coming from this switch, which is this gray wire. That goes to the solenoid on the horns. And then you've got from the battery over there, that big red wire that runs down along the frame over there. And then you have the blue wire, which is your ignition, like for the key on and off. So anytime the key is on, then that is when your compressor will run. You can change that if you want to. You can do it to a on all the time kind of setting, but I kind of opted not to do that. It was very much trial and error to figure out which one worked. I tried about 4 different ones before I could find an actual key on ignition. All of them were just regular on all the time. I originally tried to connect the ignition wire that's ran up over there into that fuse box up under here. That did not work. As you can see, I had to retape everything. Maybe it'll focus. And then there is the ignition plug-in right here. This was the one I was trying to use for that ignition thing. That did not work. This one down here is what I was trying to use for the horn. That did not work either. That was a huge pain. Basically, when it was plugged into here, I used it was like a green and white or something. Anytime I hit the factory horn, it worked. Or when I pushed the switch in, then the factory horn went off. That is not what I wanted to happen. So the white on here, which is like your, what would connect to battery, kind of, that runs around, cuts up through the engine bay and everything. That's why the whole front end is taken apart so I could get to these wires. I do know that they connect right here, but I wanted more play with it and kind of have it more hidden up underneath here. So these are the factory horns, and you've got the plug right here, and it is this yellow with an orange stripe. That is what I used for that. So I believe this was your hot, and then this was your negative. So as of that, I think I just covered all the wiring for you guys, plain and simple. I wanted to show it to you before I put everything back together, so that way I'll know what wire goes to what, because I know I won't remember that. There's too much stuff going on. That's what the wiring looks like. If you guys have any other questions about any of that, drop it in the comments down below. I'll try and answer. I'll just tell you guys, there's a lot of work put into this kit. If you guys want to install this kit on your vehicle, just make sure you are ready for the headache of it, just because it takes a lot out of you. Just know the end goal, it is worth it, but you just know that you are gonna hate yourself when you're actually doing it, and you're gonna be super confused. That's how it's been for me. I've been driving around for basically just a little over 2 weeks with the horns actually installed on the truck, and they literally haven't been working at all. They've just literally been sitting there with wires kind of ran wherever. It was super messed up, but the guy, I think his name was Alex over at Horn Blasters, helped figure this out with me. We literally just talked on the phone for probably 2.5 hours tonight. It's a Friday. He literally stayed overtime to help me on the phone get this stuff figured out. So that's pretty much where I'm at right now. I think as of right now, it's just putting everything back together and making everything look nice, like taping all this stuff up, zip tying everything with the wires that go all the way to the back. I gotta tape all that stuff up. I guess I gotta fix those loose air fittings too. I don't know if I mentioned it or not also, but I also got the tire inflation kit. So you have the hose, tire inflation gun, and there was another air relocation valve. So that goes in one of the plugs on, I think, the side of the tank, like the opposite side from the mounting bracket. So I still have to install that too. So it's about 6 o'clock right now. I've been doing this since about 1:30 just for today. It'll probably be another 2 hours or so, probably. Hopefully not that long. Man, I don't like that. Okay, anyways, camera's about to die, AKA my phone, that's about to die because I was on the phone for 2.5 hours. So I will catch back up with you guys after this is totally done. So you will see it looking a lot better. And just like that, there we go, guys. Everything is now put back together. As you can see in here, we have some new improvements, some better lights. So we can actually see some stuff better in here now. It definitely improves the quality in here. Anyways, as you can see, it's now dark. As I said, it'll be about 2 hours later. It's been about 3, but I also had to do some other stuff too. Clean up, go inside, do some stuff. But it took me 1.5 to 2 hours to just finish everything. I had to go ahead, tape everything up, just tidy everything up, put everything back together. Here we are looking like this. The capacity in the tanks is 150 PSI. Oh, maybe it's more. But whatever that's at, I want to say that's just under 150, so like 140-ish PSI. I'm not gonna honk it that much, or I'm just gonna do it just like once in here real quick, because like you can see, it's getting late outside. People are trying to go to bed, stuff like that. I don't want to disturb the neighbors or anything, but I'm sure you guys will end up seeing this thing honk in future videos. So it does work. So the only thing that's not like perfect with it is I drilled the hole here. I don't know if I showed this to you guys or not already. It's dark in here because of the dark tint and everything. But I drilled the hole. Do not put 3 switches right here. There's a clip right here and you have a metal bracket behind here. I didn't realize that till afterwards. Maybe you can see, maybe not, but this gap is super far off. I actually was kind of planning to do an interior swap on the truck because I hate this like tan color. On camera, like comes out gray, but in person, it's like this light tan. Looks pretty nasty. You can kind of see it better on that one. But the color I think I'm going with is ebony, and it's like a black, basically. So I have this panel on order coming to me, so hopefully that will be here soon. But that's on order, so then basically I'm just gonna re-drill out those holes, put the 3 switches someplace else, not sure where yet. Maybe like right here would be a bad idea. That's kind of messed up, but then also, as you can see, when you hit this, the switch, the lights do not turn on around it, like with this one, you can see, and this one. So this one's rock lights, this one's the light bar. You can see they do that. When you hit this switch, it doesn't turn on. It's once you honk the horn, then this switch lights up. So it's like activated when it's actually working, which I guess is fine. Doesn't really bother me too much. But yeah, that's kind of the only thing that's a little off. I kind of wanted it to be on when you just press the switch, but I don't know. It is what it is. I don't really know how you'd fix that, honestly. I bought one of those decibel meter things. Oh, I should say too, before I forget, I also got the tire gun inflation kit. This is your kit you kind of have to add on to that. So basically there's a plug on the one side of the air tank. You just put a different fitting on there, and then you have quick connects for your hose and stuff to go on. And then if you want, you can do a whole bunch more. Like you can leave this stuff up underneath there, You can see everything that comes in here, like there's the airline clips and stuff. So there is potential for you to leave the extension hoses and the air gun shoved up under there. I wouldn't do that when I put this in. I'm not gonna do it tonight because I'm kind of running out of time, but this may just be a project for another day. But it really won't be that hard. It's pretty much just gonna be pulling out the one like blocker plug or whatever you wanna call it. It's just like a plug that's in there with nothing happening. So this is where that would go basically. But I'm just gonna put this in and then I'll just end up leaving the hose and the gun in the truck. I opened this up and it actually comes in a nice case, the gun and the hose. So I don't see a point to leave it like under the truck. It's just gonna get dirty, be in the way, it might get caught on stuff. So I just leave that in the truck. But that will just be a project for another day. That'll be if I even film it. This should honestly probably take like 15 minutes. I also kind of want to do it when the tank is empty because as you just saw right now, the tank is full. So I really don't want to drain the tank just to put this on to have it refill back up and everything. I will say too, the fill up time on the tank was like maybe 3 minutes, if that. Like it was pretty quick to fill up, like from totally empty. I did have some trouble with one of the airlines in there that I told you guys about. It's kind of weird. I had to take the connector off, get the hose in there, and then put like the connector back on. So that was kind of a pain. I had to cut like 4 different airlines for that, but it's fine because they give you a whole bunch. So I still have a whole bunch extra. As I was saying, I bought this decibel thing on Amazon like a week or 2 ago. I just kind of wanted to see how loud my exhaust was because I see other people doing videos. They're using this to kind of check and see how loud their exhaust is. Well, so I wanted to compare my truck then to see if mine was louder, quieter, etc. But I'm gonna do it with the exhaust and then I'm also just gonna blare the horns once just so we can kind of see the difference for loudness. These things are super loud. They come with earplugs in the kit. I thought that was pretty funny. Getting quieter. Anyways, as you could tell, the cold start was quite loud. It was like 108 decibels or so. And pretty much it just ended up staying at about that range. I just held it up to it, turned it off the max thing. It stayed at the 108. Now I have to actually, well, I guess to compare the exhaust then to the horns, I'm actually gonna have to go into the cab and hit it. So I'm gonna turn this thing on the max button. I'm just gonna hit the regular horn first just to see loudness wise. Probably put it in the front of the truck because that's where those horns are at. Now, this is off. So that's just a factory horn just to see how loud it is. We got to 113.5. So it's actually just a little louder than the exhaust. Not by much, but a little bit. And I'm gonna honk the train horn once and we're gonna see what this says then. This thing is so loud, guys. You don't even understand. So we gotta hit the button. I'm gonna honk it on here so that way you guys can see how that light turns on when I honk it. That was so loud. It only says 127. I don't think that's right. I think it's way louder than that. I think this thing has a max too. I honestly think the max is like 130. I definitely think it's way louder than that. That is so loud. You guys don't even comprehend. They literally give you earplugs in the kit. That's how loud it is. But I'm sure you guys will see me honk it more and stuff in future videos. It's super loud though. I don't want to piss off my neighbors around here, especially because it's dark. It's getting late out. Maybe I'll go test it out on the road later, but for now, that's pretty much where we're at, what we're looking like. I think that's pretty much going to be it for the video. That was just kind of the install. I'm sure later on I'll give some kind of a review video, but all in all, that is pretty much the install. I know this is going to be quite a long video, so I apologize for that. That's why I tried to not show as much work, but just kind of give you guys updates along the way. So if you guys somewhat enjoyed the video at least, just go ahead, give it a thumbs up. Go ahead, hit that subscribe button. If you got any comments, questions, anything like that about this kit, how I install it on my truck, anything like that, if you guys are looking to do it to your truck. I don't know if I mentioned it, but it is a 2018 F-150 STX. Your truck may vary depending on what it is with the wires and all that stuff, because I know I found a whole bunch of different stuff online, but eventually I got it figured out after a while. But yeah, so I think that's pretty much gonna be it for the video. Like I said, you guys got any questions about anything with it, go ahead, drop it down in the comments below. But other than that, thanks for watching another video of Bloom Outdoors. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will catch you guys next time.